Crazy Taxi. Is it good? Yeah. In Crazy Taxi, you get to drive a taxi. Your objective is to get your passengers from A to B as quickly as possible from big jumps, drifts and near misses, all of which build a combo which helps you go for high scores. All of this is very exciting. I used the PS5 DualSense controller on my iPad to control the game, which felt superb. However, I did play using the touch controls, and the gameplay from this review is from my first time playing with touch controls, and I thought they felt great, if not easier. Not easy in a way it's an easier control, but easier to game the system. It's easier to boost on the touchscreen as you just double tap drive, rather than let off the gas, put the car in reverse, put the car back in drive, and gas it like you have to on the controller. Confused? You're not the only one. The driving feels very arcadey, and it snaps left and right depending on which way you want to turn. This is great for big turns, but it can be a little bit difficult when trying to make little adjustments against oncoming traffic. Crazy Taxi is free to play on the iPad, but I paid £1.79 to remove all the adverts, which I think is ridiculously cheap. The map you drive around feels huge. Even after 5 hours, I was still finding myself in areas I didn't recognise, which is great at keeping it fresh. But the areas that you do get to know, you will master and find all the shortcuts. There's an arcade mode and an original mode. Honestly, I don't know the difference, and I tended to just stick to arcade. In both, you have the option of playing by the arcade clock, in which you have to keep finishing jobs to keep your time going, but there's also time challenging modes where you have to do the most jobs in a set amount of time. I found this very fun, and it was quite fun to just drive around with less stress of the clock instantly running out. My favourite mode, however, was called Crazy Box, and this consisted of 16 challenges, from using your car as a bowling ball against bowling pins, to driving down very narrow roads with nothing but water beside you. I thought these challenges were extreme fun, and I just wish there was more of them. In order to get from A to B, you must follow the arrow that's above the car. However, you'll learn quickly that the arrow cannot always be trusted and will sometimes just point you towards walls and buildings that you can't go through. The graphics were great on my iPad Gen 9 and the frame rate was very smooth, which is good for quite a good looking retro game, and there's a lot going on in this game, so it's nice to keep a solid frame rate. On the iPad you can see how you compare to other people with the online leaderboards. This can be against your friends or against the whole world. You can adjust the leaderboard from being all time to this month to this week. So if you're really low down on the all time, switch it to this week and see how high you got. The soundtrack is what you'd expect to hear from a Tony Hawk game, which means middle class 40-year-old man with daddy issues screaming why his life is so sad. Which I usually quite like, but when there's only 3 songs in this game and they're playing on a loop, I could not turn off the music quicker. That was Crazy Taxi, and I'll give it an 8 out of 10.